California. Lee Westwood is at 3 under, 9 shots behind the leader, Bill Haas. And in Rugby Union's Premiership, bottom of the table, Sale go to the side just 2 places above them, London Welsh. Wasps host Gloucester in the day's other match.
BBC Radio 5 Live is also available through your digital TV. Sky, Freeview, Freesat and Virgin Media are just some of the ways you can listen.
You're listening to Double Take with Anita and Sam with you for another 20 minutes. Backs will be slapped harder than ever at the Brit Awards on Wednesday as the music industry celebrates a stellar year of British success in the United States.
Let's go crazy, crazy, crazy till we see the sun. I know we only met to live, but then it's slow. And never, never, never stop for anyone. Johnny, let's get some and live while we young. Boy, you can say anything you wanna. I don't give a shit, no one else can have it. I want you back, I want you back, I want you back. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came. You show the light that don't be turned to stone. You shine when I'm alone. I will wait for you. Bring myself, Mr. Land. We forgave, and I won't forget. They say she's in class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting.
Tones of Adele there. You also heard from One Direction, Cher Lloyd, The Wanted, Ellie Goulding, Mumford & Sons, Muse, wonderful Ed Sheeran. Just giving you an idea of those who've tasted a measure of US success over the last 12 months.
Well, actually, 4 of the top 5 selling albums in the US Billboard charts last year were by British artists. Maybe Adele's 21, Baby from Mumford & Sons, 2 from One Direction. Yes, 2. British artists actually accounted for 1 in 7 of artist albums sold in the US in 2012. It's the highest share on record.
Do you know, sometimes we do this. We sort of do this item. We go, oh, is this the year for British talent? But just with a list like that, which is almost exhausting just reading through it, does seem that something special is going on right now, stateside. Let's examine this a little further. We've got the music journalist Emily Mackay, who writes The Independent and the NME, and Corda Marshall, who's been a senior executive at RCA, Atlantic and Warner's, now owns Infectious Records, sits on the British Phonographic Industry Council, which runs the Brits. Welcome to both of you. Thank you very much for coming in. I mean, is it just me, or is this actually... I haven't remembered a year like this when so many British bands have been doing so well.
Yes, I think there's definitely something happening. I think if you looked just at the top 4 of the top-selling albums in the US, Adele, Mumford and One Direction, all of those are such phenomenal successes in their own right that you could ascribe that to just those band street successes. But the fact that this is the 3rd year in a row that the UK share of US album sales has increased, I think that indicates there is a general trend towards great.
Does it work like that, Corda, that you have kind of a critical mass? You have some breaking through and then others kind of almost surfing in on their coattails?
Yeah, I think the surfing phase, I think historically it's always come in waves, and from the 60s with the Stones, the Beatles, and all the new wave artists in the 80s that came through. So the process of, I think at the moment it's a great testament to some great music. UK is making some amazing music, and has been for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's travelling internationally, not just in America, it's travelling all around the world, and it's a great testament to the development and to the artistry and to the creativity that comes out of the UK. It's a cultural context in America. They're so interested in what's happening here. They see us as being on the cutting edge and being at the front of forth. So they're really interested in all the things that we're doing, and that opens a dialogue where we can get, as long as the artists want to work there, you have to put a lot of effort and time into America. You have to tour there many times to have success.
It's surely technology's got something to do with it as well, hasn't it? I mean, I think, Corder, about the Beatles, and there was some fantastic statistic where they put something like 2 million posters up in '67 before they went to try and break the state. Now, of course, you get Justin Bieber, one tweet about One Direction, and more people have been known about them.
There's no question the technology these days is making it a lot easier in America. So you can run a campaign for the UK, and the process of the gatekeepers in America that used to be very much controlled by radio. Now sites like Pitchfork and the whole digital side of things means you can access your market and have a direct communication with an audience anywhere in the world, including America.
I just wonder, though, whether it is all about quality, and I don't mean to be disparaging about this, but some of the bands that we just played, Ed Sheeran, Adele, they write songs, they stand there, they play themselves. Others are very much of that manufactured brand, One Direction I'm thinking of, Cher Lloyd. The brand is shiny, it's good, but is it special? That's what, I wonder how long that spell might last in America.
I'm not sure what sort of staying power Cher Lloyd will have. I think with One Direction they also filled a void that was empty at the time. I think that the head of their US label certainly cited that as a reason for signing them, that boy, that classic boy band presence really was missing in the US, and they really capitalised on that. So I think with them, I can see them having a lasting future. Obviously, Adele and Mumford have had much more of a slow burn success, and it's the quality and the sort of depth of emotion in their songs that.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree, Cordo? Who of that list do you think we're going to be talking about in America in the next 10 years?
I've got a band called All J that we've got 3 nominations for the Brits this year. We're Mercury Right Prize winning. We're at 80,000 albums in America. We're doing about 5,000 a week. They've already been there 7 times this year. There's another plan for another 4 trips this year. So we're really focusing on trying to break All J. I think there's some great new music coming through, but I think you have to be a differential context between kind of artists and artistry and careers as opposed to kind of pop success and pop radio success. The beauty of England is I think we do both really well. There's no question with One Direction there was a big gap in the market, and they've proven themselves in Asia and in Europe. The first record had been phenomenally successful around the world. And also you've got a kind of process in America where the record executives and the people who control the buttons and the systems in America are much more open to taking international music into America and having and creating the success. So there was a huge desire at Sony to break One Direction, and that's the reason it worked.
Is there anyone doing well in the States who we aren't too familiar with here? I'm thinking about, Bush, who were absolutely massive in America. We never really took them to heart here in their home country. Who else is doing big things in the States from the UK who we're not kind of loving as much here? Anyone?
I think perhaps this example doesn't work quite as well now, but a Scottish band called Frightened Rabbit.
Fantastic band, yeah.
Yeah, great band, aren't they? They, I think, have been doing better in the US than in England, certainly, for quite a while. They're obviously massive in Scotland, but I think on this album they just put out Pedestrian Verse. They're starting to really be much better known in the UK, but they're already playing bigger venues in the US than they do in England.
It often happens where an artist has to go to America. Radiohead didn't have any success in England until Creep was a success in America. They had to release the record 3 times in the UK, and an artist like Speaks to the Bell had huge success in America. So I think that's one of the fresh things about the new digital age, is you can have success in America without so much homegrown success. Traditionally, record companies in America wouldn't even put a record out by an English band unless it was platinum here and certainly double platinum worldwide. That isn't the case.
Have you got a favourite, a winner and all that?
Well, I love Muse. I signed Muse when I was 17, and watching them grow over the years, and watching the 6-7 albums come out, and finally on their 17th tour of America, we finally kind of got to play them all to more than 5,000 people, and now they're playing at 30, 40, 50,000 a night. That's a great success story.
Emily?
I think of all the acts that did do really well in the US last year, I think I was most pleased to see Florence and the Machine doing well, because I think with Adele and Mumford, and also to an extent One Direction, that's either a very American-friendly or a very international sound, whereas I think Florence has a quite definite Englishness about her, and the fact that she managed to make that fly over there.
She worked really hard. She went over there many times to work. The thing is, success in England can be really quick. In America, you really have to work at it.
Well, thank you both very, very much for coming in. Emily Mackay and also Corder Marshall. Not often that you get someone to say, yeah, I signed Muse when they were 17. It's very lovely. Thank you very much indeed. The time now is 10:50. Orna has the travel.
Thank you, Anita. And in South Yorkshire, the A1M still affected with an accident. accident, junction 36 at Warmsworth to 37 at Mar. Investigation work is now underway. It's affecting the northbound side. Gloucestershire, and we have weekend roadworks on the M50 between junction 2 at Ledbury and 4 at Ross-on-Wye. It looks as though they will be finished by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, though. And in Coventry, the Ring Road has 2 lanes closed at junction 4 for roadworks. It's just near the junction of London Road. And also in Hampshire, Hardley, Long Lane, the A326. We've got the road partly blocked there by an accident. A car was involved in the accident, and it's just near to the Hardley roundabout. It's causing delays. Orna Merchant, 5 Live Travel.
Red Nose Day is back, so get ready to raise some cash.
I'm Tanya, and this year I'm getting on a bike for the first time in 25 years.
I'm Katie, and this year me and my colleagues are having a cake-off bake-off.
I'm Lee, and I'm arranging the world's biggest custom pipe fight for comic relief.
I'm Helen Skelton, and I'm going to be building and then walking across a rope bridge spanning the Manchester Ship Canal.
How will you raise money for Red Nose Day?
Join the fundraisers and do something funny for money.
For your free fundraising kit, search online for Red Nose Day.
Well, pressure's growing on the Irish Prime Minister, Enda Kenny, to make a full public apology to women who were sent to the Magdalen laundries. A group of women were made to work in the laundries without pay, and they met Mr Kenny in London this week. And the issue will be debated in the Irish Parliament as well later on this week. Let's talk to our correspondent, Andy Martin. Just remind us, Andy, what exactly were the Magdalen laundries?
Well, there were many things depending on the women that were sent, the particular women that were sent there. Some were sent because they had been deemed at the time to be what the church would have termed fallen women who had fallen pregnant outside of marriage. And many of those women fell pregnant, frankly, through abuse, either within the family or within the community in which they lived, or indeed some of the hands of the clergy themselves. Many, of course, fell pregnant simply as many young women often do. Then, of course, there were women who were put into the laundries for no particular reason at all. Some were taken there because of land disputes within families.